Yeah, right. Hi, good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? I hope everyone is doing very well, and thank you so much for all your wishes. I've been looking at everybody's wishes. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you guys could join at such short notice as well to finish your course. We were doing meetings chapter and we did half of it, and I had to cancel the second class due to some emergency. So I see some new people joining in. I'm so happy to see that. Thank you, Chanchal. Thank you, Sanjana, Rohani, Om. Thank you so much for wishing. All right, so we will be starting again, like not again, but I'll just take you through what we were doing because there's a long gap from my previous class and today's class. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a quick brief, even if there's some students who have joined for today for the first time, although it's the last class. But they'll at least know what we were doing and what we were actually looking at. We did the chapter meetings, like, what is the concept around meetings? Okay, professional meetings. Why are we even studying about it? So basically, just to tell you that when you are conducting a meeting, a professional meeting, you basically need to be prepared in advance because these are formal meetings. You can't just go and sit in the meeting without a agenda in mind, without any, anything in mind that, this is a solution that we need to find out, or this is the problem that we need to discuss, and we need to arrive at some sort of kind of conclusion. Since it's a formal meeting and everybody has a limited time, nobody has enough time to just come and chit chat. This is not a chit chat session. So there has to be a proper focus for the meetings, right? So if everybody is ready, can I start with the session? Amrit, weightage of this chapter, I think you'll get about one question or so. And that is going to be either related to the agenda, that how do you frame an agenda for the meeting. The other thing is that the minutes of the meeting, which we'll be doing today. Okay. So I'm going to share the PPT and we will revise what we did last time, and then we'll continue after that. Okay. Sorry. So a meeting is basically when there's a deliberative assembly. I say assembly of individuals, that means there's some certain group of people who come together and sit together, formally and informally. Either ways, you need to have a certain issue or a problem to discuss, right? And the agenda of this meeting is to come to a conclusion, right? So it could be formal, it could be informal, but we are considering and we are studying about the formal meetings right now. We are not talking about the informal one, because informal ones do not, of course, they have agenda, but they don't have any structure to follow. Whereas in the formal meetings, we have certain structures and certain protocols that we need to follow. Of course, every organization has their own agenda, has their own protocol, but still, there is a certain framework that everybody follows, There's a certain framework and certain things that everybody follows. They might have a different, the templates, they might have a different way of doing it, but at the end of the day, everybody's doing the same thing, right? Now, again, the meeting is supposed to be held at a definite time, at a definite place, usually for a definite duration to follow an agreed upon agenda. Now, you need to have a fixed time, fixed place where you're going to have a meeting. You can't have a meeting at at different places, at, at informal places also. There has to be some definite place for the meeting, okay, and a duration. Since everybody is taking out time for the meeting, since everybody is coming with an agenda in mind, you need to have a time frame that this meeting will go on for 2 hours or 3 hours. Nobody has the entire day to spare out for a meeting, right? And there's no point even talking for the entire day without reaching on to the conclusion. So it is basically time defined, right? So this is what meeting is. Now, we studied about the two types of meeting. One is the organizational meeting and one is the operational meeting. Now, organizational meeting is a meeting that usually take place at a definite time, usually with the some agenda and the outcomes. Now, these meetings are basically done between the stockholders and the management, the board meetings and the annual general meetings. Now, these happen at a definite time, after 6 months or quarterly, however they want, right? But operational meeting is called time and again, and it can be done at various time frames and with different agendas, right? Usually these meetings are done between the committee, department, and the section meeting, because these meetings are to discuss about our day to day problems, and anything that needs, something new has happened, while you're working on a project, something new has happened. So basically departments come together, they work out together so that everybody is on the same page. So this is why it is called operational meeting, because it is about the day-to-day operations, right? But organizational meetings do not happen at any time. Like, you can't just call unless there's an emergency in the organization that and something needs to be taken care of urgently. You can't basically call the board meetings and annual general meetings and the stockholders and the management. You can't tell them, okay, let's gather together and have a meeting suddenly. Am I clear? Now, why do we conduct a meeting? These are the few of the reasons that why we conduct meeting. One is to resolve problem or some issues being faced while planning the task. You need to chalk out some new strategies to promote your business or increase profitability. So problem and issues is, of course, a very common thing. Then there's a new strategy when there's a new project happening. So you chalk out the new strategies, you exchange ideas and information. This is also to ensure that there's a coordination on issues. When maybe 6 or 7 people are, working on the same project, right? You have to meet time and again so that to ensure that there's a coordination, everybody's on the same page, right? So you announce or propagate a message effectively within an organization. You need to announce something new that is going to happen. You're going to update the stuff for something new. So you call up a meeting and then you announce and propagate the message everybody so that everybody gets to know and everybody understands it in one go. Then there is a coordination and cooperation, which is essential for a successful meeting. There is a common intention of achieving some goal or objective. Now, what are the few requisites of a meeting? Now, what are things that you need to basically take care of before you conduct a meeting? First is that you select the right participants. What do we mean by selecting the right participants? Is there anyone who remembers this requisites of a meeting? Does anybody remember this? Who can tell me what do we mean by selecting the right participants when it comes to conducting a meeting? Don't take everyone. Okay. But why? So let's say there are 20 people in an organization. Why can't those all 20 come in the meeting? Why you shouldn't do that? Good, Rohani. Yes, selecting the right participants means that those people who are concerned and they're relevant, who has the relevance and who is working on the project should only be there for multiple reasons. One, others are not required because that's a waste of time for them. They are not even working. They don't even know what is the issue. They can't even give the inputs for this. Second is wasting time is one thing. Second is they can't give us inputs. Like, passing on to the information to everyone unnecessarily doesn't make sense. Yes, it's unnecessary disturbance, right? It causes disturbance in the organization, right? And and I feel the team might have some issues also amongst themselves if people who are working on the projects and people who are not working with the project come together and get involved with the issues and the new discussions. And of course, the meeting agenda, you might not be able to stick to the agenda because everybody has something new to say, and there could be a lot of irrelevant information. Then you basically set an agenda. You need to set a specific agenda for the meeting. This is so important. You can't just call the meeting and then look at everybody's face and decide like what should we do now. Like I said, it's not a chit chat session. It is something that is done purposefully, deliberated. Then you send intimation to all the participants. You need to inform everyone prior to with and I think before time so that everybody can prepare for the meeting. They don't come unprepared for the meeting, so you have to give enough of time for the people to prepare for the meeting. So send intimations beforehand. Of course, emergencies are a separate thing. We are not talking about the emergencies here. Then you need to appoint a facilitator, somebody who conducts the meeting, somebody who's neutral, somebody is like taking care that agenda is being followed, somebody who can keep everyone together and keep telling somebody that this is the agenda we need to follow. Because sometimes what happens is when we're doing a discussion, the discussion direction which we don't need to go to. So there has to be somebody who keeps an eye on everyone and if pushes everyone to stay and stick to the topic that we are discussing, right? Then there is arriving at a clear conclusion and formulate next steps. Now, if we are conducting a meeting, then we need to reach to a clear conclusion. We need to formulate some steps, like what needs to be done and what not needs to be done. Are we clear? Then we create opportunities for creativity and participation. We need to make sure that when we are conducting a meeting, we give enough of time and chances to everyone to speak. There has to be an opportunity for everyone to speak, so that we can get more solutions to it. We can get more ideas. There is when I say opportunities for creativity, that means that everybody gets enough and everybody can have their own input, and you never know which input works for all of us, right? Participation is very important. You can't basically it can't be a lecture. When we say it's a meeting, it cannot be a one-man show. Like one person calls a meeting and that person only speaks and then sends everybody back. No, there has to be an opportunity for participation for everyone. So let's say I have called for a meeting for sales team and the branding team. I have to give enough chance to both the teams to talk, right? And what they feel about it, what they feel about the ideas, what they think that if this is going to work or not, if this is going to portray the organization in a good way or not, if this will help us to get our sales up or not. So two different people, they are doing their own job, but the focus is the same. So if I don't give them opportunity to speak and to participate, then that meeting won't be fruitful. Are we clear? Thank you, Adya. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the minutes of the meeting. So this is what we did in the last session, and of course, I'll just show you your study material wherein we have okay. So this is the two formats of agenda that we discussed. One is a chapter form, wherein we take a framework of the time the topic needs to be discussed, who are the attendees who are attending this discussion, this meeting, the speaker, and the duration. Who roughly gets how much time to speak. The another one was this is the template for meeting agenda, wherein we talk about the objective, we talk about the date, time, and location, and then the entire list is there. All right, so now we're going to discuss about the minutes of the meeting. Now, what is the minutes of the meeting? What do we understand? Minutes of the meeting is basically the informally notes that we make, which is about the instant record of a meeting. Minutes of the meeting basically records what happened at the meeting, starting from who were the attendants of the meeting, who were the participants, what statements were issued, and who said what, and what decisions were taken in the end. And when is going to be the next meeting, what's going to be the agenda, with what frame of mind people are going to come for the meeting. So minutes of the meeting is basically the record of the meeting. It's a written record, right? Because if one meeting happens today and another meeting happens after 15 days, there is a possibility, and there is a high possibility that everyone doesn't remember everything that has been discussed. Reason being, you are doing so much and you are thinking about so many things at the same time, and you're working on multiple things, and people tend to forget what happened. Okay, so can we move ahead? Now, what is the need to prepare the minutes of the meeting? Let's look at this. Various participants may have different recollections of the meeting. Now, everybody might have a different recollection. Why do we say that? Because everybody have their own interpretation of what happened, right? Sometimes it is a possibility that somebody misinterpreted about what was discussed and what needs to be done, right? And everybody might remember things that is of their concern, and they don't remember everything else, right? So let's say there are about 5 topics that have been discussed, right? And there is one topic that is connected to you and that concerns you. I know you only remember what happened regarding that, but few days later you have to do something else, and you don't remember what else was discussed in the meeting, right? And it's embarrassing to go on and ask people like what was discussed, what was decided, because you were also in that meeting. So minutes of the meeting basically helps that every participant knows what has happened. You can actually go back and see and read what was discussed. Diverse interpretations of action plans are possible. Like I just said, that everybody has their own interpretation of what happened, right? What was discussed and what needs to be done, right? Probably you know that what needs to be done, but you did not listen to how it is supposed to be done. So again, there's going to be a mess up when you are implementing that action plan. That is why, again, minutes of the meeting are important, so that everybody is on the one page. Everybody knows what was discussed and how it was discussed. Important tasks can be forgotten. Like I said, it is not humanly possible to remember each and every word discussed, each and everything that was discussed, because everybody is doing multiple things in the organization and they are doing a lot of things. So there is a very high possibility that you do not remember important things as well. Again, this is why the minutes of the meeting is very important, because that lists down the things that needs to be done and taken care of. Data submission of subject matter, report, and action plan might be overlooked. This is all related to that you might miss out onto a lot of information from the meeting after the meeting once you get back to your work, right? So you might mix up the dates of submission. You might forget about the date that was discussed for the submission of your report or your action plan or whatever, right? So minutes of the meeting will basically highlight that on so and so date we are going to meet again for another meeting. So and so date we are going to look at the report submitted, that all the reports should reach out to the management on this particular date. Then there is a written record is always available for future reference. Even if you don't remember, you at least know that there is a written record wherein you can basically go back and look at and refresh your mind with what was discussed and what happened in the meeting, right? So that is good for you also, and because it's in written, right? And sometimes it works for you also if somebody asks for you for some XYZ thing and you say that this was not discussed in the meeting, right? And the person says that no, it was discussed, you were supposed to submit this to me. You can actually show the written record and say that, no, this was not discussed. This was not even part of the agenda, right? So it works both ways. One, if you want to save yourself some time. The second is you don't want to get into trouble also. So it works either ways. Now, this can be used as a reminder for oneself and other. Of course, it's a reminder. You can actually keep reminding yourself by looking at the minutes of the meeting. Can be required for legal reasons. Like I just said, that if somebody tries to put a blame on you for something that you were not supposed to do, and the person claims that this was discussed in the meeting, you can actually show them that no, this was not discussed. The discussion was this. Am I clear? Yes. Similarly, if you are the somebody from the management and your junior associate has done something wrong and done opposite to what you told the team to do, and something has gone wrong and went wrong, you can again show the minutes of the meeting and say that, it is all your fault because this is not how I asked you to do the thing, right? So this is again the need for the prepared minutes of the meeting. Are we clear? Any problems so far? I'm going to just stop for 2 minutes and see. Sanjana, any format that you can use. If it is mentioned, it's fine. If it's not mentioned, then use any. Depending on the question, of course. What is the question being asked? Yes, Dhruv. I'm waiting. If there's any problem that anybody has, you can ask me now. Otherwise, I'll move ahead. Sahana, yes, in this particular chapter, you might have questions from minutes of a meeting or either for the agenda as well. I will discuss, Asha. I'll discuss this. Otherwise, also, you can look at the previous year's questions to know. And if for all the chapters, your questions will be kind of similar to what questions been asked, been given in your practice exercise. Okay, now who can tell me that why do we need minutes of the meeting? Give me any two needs. Any two. Why do we need minutes of the meeting? Written record for future reference, important task, can be forgotten, can be required for legal reasons. To remember important tasks can be required for written record is always for future reference. It is needed because. Good, Varun. Various participants may have different recollection to solve any dispute regarding a meeting. To remember. Okay, now let's discuss about the steps in the minutes of the meeting. Okay, now the steps is first is the pre-planning. Now in this pre-planning for the minutes of the meeting, you need to have a copy of agenda with you. You should know, the one who's writing the minutes of the meeting should know what was being discussed and how it was being discussed, what all the things are going to be discussed, and in which sequence. Okay, in what sequence. So so you can create the framework of your minutes of the meeting if you know the agenda, if you know the sequence. So basically you can keep your headings ready, and underneath you can start writing about what all has been there and what all was discussed for the every topic, right? So have your agenda copy ready and have your sequence ready already, so that it's easy for you to mention the details. Then you note down the name of the attendees. At least the one who's writing the minutes of the meeting should know who all are attending the meeting, right? And you should be aware about the designations and why they're attending, what is their purpose of attending the meeting. All the documents and the handouts that you think is going to be used in the meeting, that also you need to be ready with it so that you can attach it to the minutes of the meeting later on. And that can be circulated to all the attendees who attended the meeting, right? All the documents, or maybe some financial statements, or maybe some marketing plans, whatever is the agenda, based on that, whatever documents and handouts you think will be used, it should be ready with you. Last point is get clear instructions about your role. You should know what is your role as if you are attending the meeting and if you are mentioning the minutes of the meeting, right? All the points should be clear to you. You have to be very attentive. It's not an easy job since you will be writing the minutes of the meeting and that will be going to everybody who attended the meeting. So it is a very important rule that you don't misinterpret or you don't miss out onto any point while writing about the discussions of the meeting. Are we clear? So this is about your pre-planning. Okay, the next point is about the report taking at the meeting. Are we clear about the pre-planning part? Any problems? Sanjana, you asked about the diverse interpretation of action plans. Everybody might have their own different interpretation of action plans. Like what I'm trying to say here is that when there is certain discussion happen, everybody has their own taking from the meeting. Everybody has their own taking from the discussion. So there is a possibility that everybody understands the action plan in a different way, and because everybody has their own way of doing it, right? Now, in this meeting, what happens is, like, for example, the sales manager, marketing manager, all the managers are attending the meeting, right? And they take their junior associates also along with them. Usually junior associates, they are not allowed, or they are not supposed to speak or interrupt when all the managers are discussing, right? So probably there is a junior who understood the same concept in a different way, and nobody explained it to him that no, this is not how it is supposed to be done, right? So minutes of the meeting basically clarifies that no, this is the methodology, or this is how it is supposed to be implemented and executed, and to get the desired outcome. Are we clear? Are we clear about the pre-planning part? Okay, so next step is basically recording that is taking place at the time of the meeting. I'm going to just share your study material. One second. Now, in this record taking at the meeting, understand the type of information you need at the record to record at the time of a meeting. Though several organizations have their own structures in place, there are certain points common to all. Everybody has their own way of taking the records for the meeting. Everybody has their own structures, but few things that are common while you're taking the record. First is the date and time of the meeting, which is very important. If date and time is the utmost thing that is very important about the meeting, then you need to name all the participants present and absent in the meeting. Now, why present and absent? Present, of course, who all are present. Absent, the ones who were expected to come and did not come at the last moment or couldn't come for the meeting. So you need to mention that this person who was supposed to be here is not there. So you need to have a very clear list of participants and of present and absent. Then actions taken as decided in the previous meeting. Now you have a list of actions that were taken as decided in the previous meeting. Looking at the previous minutes of the meeting, what all actions have been done and taken and what was pending. The decisions taken, if any, about each agenda item. Now, about every agenda, if discussions are closed, decisions have been taken, please mention that. Like for this agenda, this is the outcome. For this agenda, this is the outcome. Necessary steps taken or will be taken with reference to each issue. Now you have to mention about the necessary steps that needs to be taken, right? And will be taken for the reference. The future plan of action, again, very important. Why are we having a meeting if we're not discussing the plan of action here? Date and time of next meeting. You need to mention again about if decided, of course. If was no discussion about it, then you don't need to mention. But if it was already specified so that everybody remembers, please mention the date and time of the meeting. Are we clear again? Any problem? Now, there's certain suggestions that are given while taking the notes. What do you note in your notebook? You can note down however you want, but when you're circulating, there is a proper format that you need to follow. And of course, in a nice format and with nice fonts, you need to write you can't circulate your notebook everywhere, right? There has to be proper, headings of the agenda. Then you specify the points, what was discussed, and what is the conclusion after that. Now, there's certain suggestions that are there that are given in your study material, which tells about what we need to take care of while taking down the notes. First is have a format or structure ready. Note down main points to be discussed in the agenda so that you can simply jot down all details of discussion under each main point. You can leave enough space below each item for your handwritten notes to be printed later, right? Mention the headings and then you note down the notes. Okay, so have your structure, like I said, that if you are doing the minutes of the meeting on your sheets or your notebook, you should at least be ready with the headings, date and time, the people who would be attending, the list of participants, the agendas, right? At least the heading parts. Keep the record of attendance. Ensure that names of all people attending the meeting are noted. Now, beforehand, before the meeting starts, you should know who all are expected to attend the meeting. At least write their names, and you can just keep ticking that this person is here, this person is here. Otherwise, you should have a separate list which tells about who all will be attending the meeting, so that again you can do the attendance. Mention the absentees at the meeting. Mention all absentees. Again, that is very important. Somebody who was concerned with the meeting and is not in the meeting, you basically need to keep a tab on that, because one, you know that this person was not there, so the person doesn't know what was the discussion about. And second is, no future problems in the organization happens. Mention notes on all items for discussion on agenda during the meeting to ensure accuracy. Keep making notes about all the items for discussion on agenda so that there's an accuracy, right? Ask for clarification if there is ambiguity at any point. You're free to ask for the clarification. Instead of writing something wrong, you should at least get the clarification that, okay, so and so thing has been discussed and this is how it is supposed to be. Do not try to capture it all, as it is impossible to take down the complete proceedings of the meeting. As a person who's taking notes, you cannot just keep writing everything, right? So you have to write or type just the decisions, assignments, actionable points, etc. Brief, clearly, and sequentially. This is very important. You are not like a computer, like somebody speaking and you're just writing, writing, writing. No. Main focus. What was the discussion? What was the decision? What was the assignment? And what is the actionable point? Be brief about it, be clear about it, and follow the sequence. If you do not follow the sequence, you will get confused when you are, formalizing the minutes of the meeting. Now record it. You can also record the meeting. Okay. However, all the participants must know that they are being recorded. You can't record people without um, without telling them. So you need to specify everyone that you will be recording the meeting, so that it is a help in while you are producing the minutes of the meeting. Okay, so that is about the while taking the notes, what all you need to take care of. I'm going to stop here for 2 minutes. If there's any problem, you can ask me now, and then we'll start with the process. Jot down means write down. Any problem? I've only got one answer. If there is any problem or not, are we clear? Okay. Okay. Then you tell me that what all you need to know about the pre-planning before the minutes of the meeting. What all is required for pre-planning? What are the points to remember for pre-planning? Copy of agenda, proper sequence. All right, good. Anybody else? Collect the documents, clear structure, using a copy of the agenda, use a similar order, numbering, noting the name of people, getting clear instructions. Very good. You might be asked to write the minutes of the meeting. We'll discuss about the questions part. Pre-planning. Da, 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 da. All right, so you guys are clear with the pre-planning part. Very good and so good so far. Let's take a quick break for 5-7 minutes and come back. Right? I will join back at 12:05. So be ready. Come back at 12:05 and we'll continue with this chapter. Right. Okay. So now let's continue and study about the process. Now, how do we go ahead with the minutes of the meeting? Now, minutes of the meeting, one second. After the meeting is over, you have to write the meetings. Now, go through the recording. See if you need to add some more details, if you need to delete some in the written report. So just check what you have written so far and what you need to add and what you need to delete. Recheck with all the concerned to ensure that all decisions and resolutions and motions are correctly noted. Now, whosoever was involved, recheck with them if need be that, this is a decision that was taken place in this agenda. This was the resolution. This was the motion that were passed, right? So you need to basically recheck. You cannot write something wrong because one, it is a written record. It cannot be wrong, and it is going to go to so many people, right? Ensure that all required details are noted, especially if the meetings are lengthy. Make sure that you write all the required details, especially if the meeting is lengthy, because in the long run deliberations that have taken place, because that is something that people forget very easily, right? Notes should be brief and easy to understand. You have to make sure that your notes are brief and easy to understand. The language has to be correct. There has to be a proper sequence and the flow, and there has to be grammatical accuracy. Because if there is no sequence and there's no flow, nobody will understand anything. It will become a mess, right? It has to be brief and easy to understand. The language you use has to be understood so that it doesn't complicate the things to understand. It doesn't make it complex. Do not include any personal conflicts or comments. Make sure that you do not add any personal conflict or comment that happened in the meeting. Sometimes it may happen that two people have their personal conflicts and they pass on to some comments. You don't need to mention that. You don't need to mention that. It's closed. You have to open it. Um, Reference material, if any, can be attached in the appendix. If there is any reference material that needs to be referred, attach it as an appendix in the minutes of the meeting. Are we clear? Any problems? Last 2 points. The second last point is distributing or sharing minutes of the meeting. Before circulating the minutes of the meeting, get the draft duly approved by a competent authority heading the meeting. You can either send hard copies or share it on email. Now, you have to make sure, no, come here. You have to make sure that before you start circulating the minutes of the meeting, get it approved or get it signed by from any competent authority who was heading the meeting. Somebody who's sure of what happened in the meeting and somebody who's at a position to authorize it. You can send a hard copy or share it on email, however the authorities permit you, however they give you permission. Filing and storage of the meeting. Now, after the final approval, minutes needs to be filed for future reference. The minute can also be stored online in hard drives. Either these days, of course, people store it on cloud or on the hard drives. Make them, in a separate folder about the minutes of the meeting, mention the meeting date, and you can save it there. Or you can, if somebody needs it, you can just email it to everyone. Are we clear? The ones who were attending the meeting. Are we clear with the minutes of the meeting part? Okay, now let's look at the example of minutes of the meeting. Okay, now let's look at the example of minutes of the meeting. Now in this one, it's about a meeting. If you look at it, the date is mentioned and the time is mentioned. Like I said, date and time is very important for the to start with. Then the list of participants. See, Mr. Ramesh, Mr. Kamlesh, Ms. Shalini, Mr. Rahman, Mr. Satya, Mr. XYZ, right? Then you start with the sequence. Mr. Ramesh gave an introduction. Mr. Kamlesh, product head, spoke about the new product. Ms. Shalini, regional manager, she presented a detailed project. Participants approved and appreciated Ms. Shalini's report. Mr. Rahman, marketing head, discussed the current market scenario, demand and supply, customer interest. Mr. Satyan, direct finance, gave details of costing, and so on. Now, this is briefly done thing. Now, there are two things that are prepared. One is the minutes of the meeting, the other is the action taken report. So in this one, it will conclusion stated, proposals for more fund put forward, tenders to be released, action taken report to be submitted by 12th. Now there's another thing that is there, which is about the action taken report. Now, what is an action taken report? Are you clear about the minutes of the meeting first? Are you clear with the format? You can elaborate it a bit. I'm not saying it, you have to stick to it and this has to be this concise and brief. Like, for example, you say Mr. Rahman, marketing head, discuss about the current market scenario, demand and supply from customer interest. Now, if Mr. Rahman has another input that he thinks that we should also implement, mention that. If it is approved also, right? Now, what is an action taken report? Action taken report is basically a report compiled few days after the meeting, stating various actions taken place as per the discussion. Now, this has to be submitted after 5-7 days or after the meeting, because this gives appropriate time for action to be taken and matter to be discussed still in the form of report, right? Now, if you look at the action taken report, how it is very short. So, as per the meeting held on 5th so and so at the head office of SV Technologies, following actions have been taken reported. The client had compiled to deliver the goods by 4th December, work done. The client has asked for more time for installation of 600 kilowatt turbine. The order has been retained and the client's proposal has been agreed to. Now, this is very short. This is just based on what all has been discussed and what has been done and what is in the pipeline. Are we clear? The one who is submitting it, signed, designation and all. So, are we clear about the minutes of the meeting and the action taken report? I'll show you more examples, but in the meantime, first tell me if everything is clear. Quickly, I'm waiting for you guys. Then we'll start with The examples, I'll just show you the example. I'm just looking at the last attempt's question paper so that I can at least tell you how the questions will be. Um, it's not mandatory that you get questions from each chapter every time. You get mix and match questions, you get questions in the options, but then of course you can't take a chance and you have to study each topic. Like in last year, no question was asked from the meeting chapter. Yeah, no. Okay, anyway. RTP question, December 2023. One second. RTP 22. No, it's December 23, right? Which question is that? Okay, fine. Let's discuss these questions. Perfect. Thank you for pointing it out. Let's discuss this question. Sorry? I mean, okay, look at the question. If you can see, I'm trying to enlarge it. Okay. Write minutes of the meeting for a meeting conducted to discuss the visit plan of foreign clients in your organization. First, you will tell me what do you think this agenda is about? What is the agenda of this meeting? Write minutes of the meeting for a meeting conducted to discuss the visit plan of foreign clients in your organization. Now, what is the agenda of this meeting? What is the agenda of the meeting? What is the agenda of the meeting? Write minutes of the meeting for a meeting conducted to discuss the visit plan of foreign clients in your organization. Okay, visit plan. What else? Okay. Now, according to you, what will be the framework of the minutes of the meeting? Hypothetically, just trying to frame the minutes of the meeting, wherein you talk about the date, time, attendees, persons who and agenda and the discussion. What do you think will be discussed in such a meeting? Quickly, I give you 5 minutes to frame the minutes of the meeting. Just in brief, I don't want too much length. You have 5 minutes to frame the minutes of the meeting. Discussion is about to track the foreign. That's fine. I'm asking you to write the minutes of the meeting. Date, time, participants, agenda. That should be clear to you. If somebody is coming and they are your guests, so you need to plan ahead of their about their travel plans, about their comfort, their itinerary, what are the meetings planned for them with the vendors. Now, then you talk about that, how you need to take care of the staff, how the staff is going to handle them, what instructions are there for the staff for them. Then you can give a suggestion on having a cultural night. You need to basically engage them because they're foreigners, they're your guests, and they're coming here for the business with you. So you need to impress them also. Think from that perspective that what all will you do in the meeting. You have to plan there, 2 days or 3 days for how many days they're here. You need to plan the time with them. Good, Mansi. Very good. When you talk about the list of attendees, cannot say chairperson, production head, sales head, marketing head. No. After 2 months, if the marketing head changes, the sales head changes, you won't even remember the last person's name who attended the meeting, and you would be chasing the new one that you were there for the meeting. No, you have to specify the name. Specify the name of the person who attended the meeting. Designation is not that important. Only one person has answered till now. It's so easy. I make people write article and report also in the query box. Nobody is looking for a perfection in your answers. Just give a logical answer. That's it. Of course, you cannot know everything that goes in an organization. Just use and apply your mind a little bit and give a logical answer. That's it. Don't give too much. Take too much time. You have two things to write in 3 hours. Okay, Varun, very good. Om, I've got three more responses. Very nice. Meeting starting at 2 a.m. Participants present: Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z, Mr. X. Chairperson gave introduction. Mr. Y, product head, spoke about a new product. Varun, the question is that foreign clients are visiting your office. You need to think you were supposed to plan their trip in your organization. Like you have to look at their arrangements, like who's looking after their arrangements, who's going to receive them from the airport, who's going to take care of them, where all you will you take them for visiting so that you can show India, then what all meetings will be lined up for them. This is what you were supposed to do. You have a one day you'll have a meeting with them that what is the scope of your product in the foreign market. This is what you were supposed to do. What you did was, it's a good thing what you've done, but it's not a true question. Um, uh, Again, in attendance, you have written the designations. You're supposed to write the name of the people, not the designations. People might change after 1 month also. Then how will you remember who was in the meeting and who was not? The chairperson gave an introduction that these so and so client is visiting our organization in India. Okay, I'm going to show you the answers given in the RTB. Let's discuss that so that you guys are clear with what needs to be done. I've told this guy you guys before also. I'm telling you now also. Please make sure that you go through the RTP questions, mock test papers, previous year's questions, so that you basically are well versed with the questions and the type of answers that are expected from you. Right? I'll just show you the answer. And that is enough. Trust me on this. This should be enough for your preparation of business correspondence and reporting. Oh, it's here. I always do this. Mention the agenda and the cost for the same. The agenda is that the foreign clients are visiting your organization in India. The participants in the meeting is Mr. X, who's the vice president, Mr. A, who's the HR manager, Mr. AB, who's the operation head, Mr. ABC, who's the operation manager, and Mr. XY's secretaries. Now, date meeting started 10 a.m. Mr. A started the meeting and discussed. Mr. A, who's Mr. A, the HR manager, discussed the agenda with details of the visit of foreign delegates. Now, Mr. ABC, who's the operation manager, adds the trip details and also emphasizes on the comfort and meetings to be held. Then A and ABC together presented a presentation with a travel plan. So they've all did a presentation where they talk about what are travel plans, what is their itinerary planned, what is a meeting planned with the vendors in the city. Then Mr. XY gave his valuable inputs because he's a vice president about the valuable inputs on how the attendance and staff should be maximum during the visit of the foreign delegates. Now, Mr. XY, being the vice president, says that the attendance has to be amazing. Our staff has to be there actively supporting and participating. Mr. ABC, who is the operation manager, gives suggestion on having some cultural night planned as part of recreation activity. Now, Mr. ABC gives a suggestion that we should have one cultural night so that everybody can get along well and they also get the insight of us. Mr. A concluded the meeting with a vote of thanks to all members who attended the meeting. Now, this is what you were supposed to do. Are we clear? Now you understand what minutes of the meetings are? I'll just discuss the tips. That's a good thing, Chanchal. Are we clear? Okay, let's look at one more question. There's one more question which was given in the RTP only. So you may be able to that question. Write minutes of the meeting for a meeting organized to discuss the increase in costing of your daily bath soaps. Discuss the need to increase the price even through the product is not even selling. Now you have to give a minutes of the meeting to discuss the increase in costing of your daily bath soaps. And then you will discuss the need to increase the price even though. Now tell me what will be your, how will you plan your minutes of the meeting? Guys, last 5 minutes so that then I can discuss what needs to be done. Quickly, guys, I'm waiting. There is not even a single response till now. You have to discuss about the increase in costing, and then how do you need to increase the price even through the product is not selling well. So there are two things. One, the cost of raw materials increase, so the price will go up for the daily bath soaps. And the another thing that we discuss is what should we do? Anyway, the soap is not doing very well. So what should be done? Nobody understood what has to be done. Seriously? Okay, finally, two responses. Very good, Ruhani. So Ruhani says Mr. A is the chairperson, Mr. B is the sales manager, Mr. C is the finance manager, Mr. D product head. Mr. A gives an introduction. Do you think the chairman gives an introduction about such things? No. The chairperson is only to listen to everyone and give inputs. So introduction must be given by some sales manager, finance manager, product manager, whomsoever you want to. I feel the product ahead. Okay, gives the rising cost of the soap production. Mr. C adds the valuable suggestion to increase the price of the soap to stand in the market. Mr. Also agreed to the fact. Now they also agreed. They also discussed that this product is not doing very well. What should we do? Should we change the ad campaign? Should we do more marketing? Should we give some new offers? What should we do to make it sell? We can't keep adding the cost to on ourselves. Mr. K suggests a suitable price at which the soap should be selling. Yes, good Chanchal. Why would you lay off the jobs for the soap? That's a good thing. The chairperson declared an open house. Yes, sometimes they do. Sometimes when there's a crisis situation, people do an open house so that maybe somebody else has a solution for this. Okay, now look at the answer for this. Okay, look at this. Focus on one product, mention the product and product specifications. Then you talk about the participants in the meeting, Mr. A. Then there's a date. Then you talk about the time. Then you talk about the agenda. Mr. A B explains about the agenda of the meeting. He talks about the need to increase the price of the specific product. The associates have brainstormed few ideas about how the product can be changed according to the market requirement. Mr. ABC listens to everyone carefully and shares his thought about changing the packaging too. He also proposes to work on the ingredients, pricing, and presentation of the product. We are taking the product to be a soap here. Mrs. XY expresses a concern over uh, rising prices of similar competitive products. Mr. A agrees and informs that he would like to discuss with the design team and finalize the appropriate pricing. The meeting concludes with a few ideas regarding packaging and pricing that everyone is ready to explore and implement. Are we clear? Now you understood how you're supposed to do. Similarly, you have such examples in your study material as well. Similarly, you have a lot of questions in your study material also, which you can practice. Look at the hints given to you and look at the hints given to you. Now, about somebody asked me what are the tips that you would like to give since it's last class. Now, the tip is I believe your study material is very thoroughly framed. It is sufficient for your exam. And the material that is provided on the website is also sufficient. But of course, the language only gets better as you practice, right? So practice, make a timetable and practice. And like I always say, this subject is not limited to just clearing the 40 marks paper. It is also something that will go on with you for life, something that you're going to use it time and again in your careers, in whatever you do. You become a CA, you don't become a CA, you choose to be something else. I mean, you choose to do MBA ahead. I don't know. I mean, like whatever career things you choose for yourself. Thank you, Yamin. But this something is integral part of a professional world, no matter what you do in life. So make the most out of this. This course is very, thoughtfully designed. Everything that will be of use to you, be it be article writing, be it be report writing, be it be formal emails, formal letters, your grammar topic, do it carefully, right? And you will see the fruits of learning today later on. Go through all the lectures available on ICI. You have previous lectures of previous years also, different faculty taking different topics time and again. If you do that, that will be really helpful for you because of course, you study the same topic from different perspectives, and reinforcement is always good. You get the concepts better, you learn about them better. Every teacher has their own example to teach. So do that, go through it, and it should be enough. I think the institute's effort is commendable on that, uh, because they are providing you with these classes. So I'm sure this is enough. Besides this, please practice, look at the previous year's question papers. Always look at previous, at least 3 or 4 years question papers to understand the pattern of questions, to understand what is important, what is not important, right? But having said that, you'll have to do everything. It's unpredictable. Any question can be asked from any topic. So at least two, 5, 6, whatever questions that makes you feel confident about the topic, do it, practice it. Make sure you know the formats well for all the writing skills. At least get the formats right, if not the language right. But work over your language skills. Read as much as you can. Listen to as much as you can. Watch English movies. Listen to English music. Read English book, whatever you like. Start from basic books. You don't have to get to a 500-page novel. No, start something with very small. Even if it's like reading one article a day in the newspaper, that's sufficient. Learn good words, vocabulary that you can use later on, right? So that should be helpful. This is something that I'm sure your teachers have been telling you in your school also. It's just a repetition of that. And all the best for your exam. I hope you guys pass with flying colors. I hope that today's lecture was fruitful for you. You know, you've understood the topic very well. And it's an open house in case anybody wants to ask any more questions. Please ask. We still have 2 3 minutes to go. And I am here to answer your questions. If the session was clear to you, you can always tell me that. Everything was clear? Okay. Thank you so much. Um, BCAR is completed today. This was the last session of BCAR. I don't know about your other subjects. If other sessions are going on, I don't know about that. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. You've been good students. All the very best. Do very well. And I hope you guys become CAs one day and you do very well in your life. All the best.